Coming up on show 612, a massive Tesla story that is just a rumour, but it comes from a very reliable source. What do I do? Oh, let's talk about it. We are talking Tesla Model Y production, that and some Porsche Macan news, and some Model S Nürburgring news, and a Buick for China news, and a new Mazda, and lots more as well. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you're listening in the world, welcome to EV News Daily. My name is Martyn Lee. Welcome to the show for Wednesday, 16th of October. I've been through every EV story that I can find in the last 24 hours, and here is the summary of the stories that you need to know. I was checking used EV prices as well over the last couple of days. No, I'm not buying, by the way. I'm not in the market. I was just having a look. And certainly here, blimey, prices are, how do they say, strong? As in, I could sell my EV for not much less than I bought it for. Kinda strong. Wow, amazing. And in the US, of course, you have myev.com as well, which is the ultimate resource for looking at used EV prices. If it's got a plug and you're in the market for buying or selling, check out myev.com. Right, breaking news then. I mentioned this at the beginning of the show. I wouldn't normally report on a rumour like this because the source isn't named, but what the heck? It's come from Clean Technica, and I really trust their writing, their reporting. Clean Technica, one of the sites that is one of my go-to sites as well. I love their writing from Chanan, who says, originally the Model Y was supposed to start shipping in late 2020. So we're not even a year away from that. Late 2020, that's 15 months away on Elon time. That means, okay, beginning of 2021. However, Tesla's website says new orders will ship Q1 2021. It's all lining up for the Model Y being about 15 to 18 months away. However, an anonymous source that Clean Technica has, and they say this person has a proven and reliable track record, says Tesla is about to accelerate its plans and start production in Q1 next year at the Fremont factory of the Model Y. They say we've also received the same information independently through another reliable second-hand source. So they've done the thing there of getting two sources for their story, which is pretty standard journalistic practice from all good sites, all good journalists. I haven't named their sources, but you know what? It's a massive rumour, and it's a year ahead of schedule. Let's continue. The Model Y is going to launch with the long-range all-wheel drive trim. So long-range, dual motor, according to the source, the standard range plus Model Y will only go into production once the production ramp has increased and that the standard range plus has a large enough gross margin. Another fun tidbit of technical information is the Model Y will indeed use this new revolutionary wiring loom, the flex cable circuitry. That reduces the length of wires needed throughout the car and gives every component gets a completely redundant connection to the battery and the computer. It's the ultimate safety. If you're going to make a car that drives itself and a wire gets cut or burns out for whatever reason, weird things happen, right? There's also another completely redundant connection for every single component. It makes it possible. This new wiring loom, which is just like crazy short, like when they got the patent application in, it's just like it blows the rest of the auto industry away. And by the way, a car industry that's had a good 100 years to get this right. What it allows is it allows Tesla to use more robots to install what they call the guts and veins of a car, and it cuts down on manual labour in installing wiring looms and cables, one of the more labour-intensive tasks of building a car. As Elon Musk has said multiple times, robots really suck at placing normal cables into cars, at least the way that the car industry has it done at the moment. Tesla think they have a better way, and it's not just like 5 or 10% better. It's like it's a whole different way of thinking of wiring a car, and we shouldn't be surprised. It's a whole different way of thinking. It's a Silicon Valley company, after all, that believe technology. Silicon Valley companies always believe technology can fix everything, all of life's problems. That's just the way that Silicon Valley companies are wired, right? Talking of wiring. This does come from Clean Technica. This does come from a source that I personally trust. I'm putting it in the podcast today. It's so exciting. Goodness me, even if it's only half true, even if it's like 6 months out, even if it's next summer, it would mean that once again, it's another punch to the rest of the car industry who are waiting until January 2020 to even make even more EVs because of the European emissions rules and some other things going on as well. It's like at the minute, and I am trying obviously to make a podcast that's pretty agnostic with different manufacturers, and I do report on all different stories, but I do have to state my admiration of a company here, a new company, a 10-year-old company that is about to announce a pickup truck before Christmas. Early next year, we know they've got their battery day, and we're pretty sure that the battery day, wrapping in the Highbar acquisition recently, the Maxwell acquisition, we're talking Tesla making their own cells. They've been partners with Panasonic for so long, but making their own cells, making their own batteries. It's a constant at the moment. It's just a constant flow of good news, if I'm honest with you, for the EV industry. And again, this news story, which literally came through as I was about to record the podcast, is going to go far and wide. It'll go into every boardroom of every big OEM around the world, and it'll certainly raise a few eyebrows. Heck, if they can even start doing it. It's frightening. It's frightening for the other car companies as well, who I'm sure have their own plans, and we know they have their own plans. And let's talk about some of those. Porsche. The Porsche Macan is going to be electrified next. First revealed by Autocar a year ago in October 2018. The new model will feature an entirely different body style from the existing Macan to reflect its status as a reinvented model for the brand, says Richard at Autocar. Well, speaking to Autocar at a recent Frankfurt Motor Show meeting, Porsche's director of SUVs, Julian Baumann, confirmed that the existing combustion-engined Macan will remain on sale alongside the new look electric Macan. The offering will broadly mirror what is offered by the Taycan and Panamera duo, if you like. If you want the combustion car, you've got an option. If you're a Porsche buyer and you want an electric option, you now get that in Macan form, arriving in 2021, initially being a high-performance model in the mould of the Taycan, however you say it, carrying the same turbo badging to identify it as a top-of-the-range version. The current Macan will be offered alongside the combustion car because some customers aren't ready for EVs, say Porsche. They aren't ready for EVs, so there'll be two different cars. Let's move on to a story that I alluded to a little while ago, and it's something that companies like Porsche don't want us talking about, because when they did their Nürburgring run, the Nordschleife record in the Taycan, and then Elon Musk said, we can beat that in a Model S. Then Porsche kind of responded, and they kind of went, well, we could have gone quicker. And then everyone went, well, if you could have gone quicker, why didn't you? And one of the things I suggested at the time, it's because Porsche know how to make an EV that is so good. Sorry, Tesla fanboys and fangirls. The Taycan is so good that it blows all of their combustion cars out of the water. It actually doesn't make sense for them to make the best EV they can. Whereas Tesla is an all-electric maker. It makes sense for them to make the best car they can every day of the week. For Porsche, for every other legacy maker, it actually doesn't make sense because EVs are so much better than combustion cars. It doesn't make sense. But Car Buzz have picked up on the story as well. The Taycan 4S is the new entry-level Porsche with two battery sizes. The larger one, which is 93.4 kilowatt hours, the double-decker, the two-deck Performance Plus battery that Porsche has detailed online. According to the Instagram post and a subsequent press release, the large battery Taycan 4S, which again is, cheaper by tens of thousands of pounds and dollars than the Turbo, and the Turbo S has an output of 563 horsepower. And sure, 563 horsepower is 200 less than the Turbo S. Even the standard battery 4S, the cheapie, the cheap one, the one that's £80,000 with its 80 kilowatt hour single deck battery, has 523 horsepower. But even then, it's still way more than an equivalent car that is big in the Porsche range, the Porsche 911 GT3. And Porsche buyers would have been looking at the 911 GT3 and feeling pretty good about themselves, going to buy a really great performance car, spend all your money on a nice car like the 911 GT3, and actually the cheapest, the bottom of the range EV that Porsche now sell, even blows that out of the water. Let's talk Audi. And the 2021 Audi e-tron Sportback is coming. Audi have teased a camouflage Sportback variant of the e-tron earlier this year. We thought we'd see the car uncovered pretty soon, but one of the spy photographers for Autoblog has finally caught it undisguised before Audi could do a big reveal. Ha ha, suckers. Says Joel at Autoblog. He didn't say suckers. It pretty much looks the way that you would expect the e-tron Sportback to look. The front of it looks like the e-tron. I've seen that. You've seen that. The upright rear of the e-tron, the SUV, has now been exchanged for a very sloping fastback. The fastback shape, but with the front of an e-tron. The greenhouse looks quite a bit like the A7, with a large rear quarter window and fairly prominent roof rails to maintain the crossover image. Everything south of the window line is a carryover from the regular e-tron. Mechanically, the e-tron Sportback will be identical to the hatchback version. 2 electric motors, front and rear, 4-wheel drive, quattro power, 355 horsepower, range... blimey. Okay, this is where the Tesla fans say, "What have you done, Audi?" It isn't the most efficient vehicle, and I'll give you that. 204 miles. Official unveiling of the Sportback to come before the end of the year. Maybe the LA Auto Show. I'll pop a link to Autoblog in the show notes if you want to read more for yourself. Porsche did the Nürburgring, set an EV record, and now Tesla are back on it. It appears that 2 Model S's, the P100D Plus prototypes, have been seen once again pounding around the Nordschleife. Spy shots of the 2 vehicles by Teslarati depict the Model S's doing some track runs, plaid mode engaged. Notable differences to the last time we saw them on the track. The vehicles have got the same body kit, the wide body kit, because it's got wider wheels, and the wheels, it's a regulation. It's you can't have the wheels sticking out further than the body, so they've had to widen the arches. Large air intake at the front, rear spoiler, and the new ones that have been seen today going around have new air vents on the front fenders, and even a rear diffuser on one of them. Maybe you've seen the video online from the Fully Charged channel with Robert Llewellyn digging up his front garden and his back garden, laying down... what was he doing it for? Oh yeah, he's putting 3-phase power into his house. Anyway, and so, from JCB, he had an electric digger, and it looked brilliant. And a big order has come in for them, thanks to the constructionindex.co.uk website. A company called A-Plant has bought a fleet of these new electric models worth more than £350,000 for the entire deal. JCB's first ever all-electric diggers are being produced in Cheadle in Staffordshire, with orders rolling in from all around Europe and North America now. The model is 5 times quieter than diesel versions of the digger, very popular for companies that need to work inside buildings or with emissions concerns, or even inner city areas where noise, you got to get a license to do any kind of construction work. You can't work at certain hours of the day because of the noise, but if you're nice and whisper quiet with your electric digger, it means you can get more work done. The charging company BP Chargemaster have installed 4 new rapid chargers in Hammersmith in London, Hammersmith flyover. It's somewhere that I used to live near. When we lived in London, we lived somewhere called Barnes Bridge, which is kind of Hammersmithy way, southwest of London. Very nice, on the Thames. And I know the area well. Their plan is to furnish the Polar charging network with 400 more units by 2021, says Electrive. Now, Hammersmith might not be showbiz, but it is certainly a great location. It's one of the main drags into London. The chargers are powered up this week following the UK rollout of the fast charging network. The first of the 150 kilowatt fast chargers launched in August. With the first 2 units installed in Hounslow, charging can be done with both CHAdeMO and CCS connectors. Full charge possible. 10-12 minutes at peak power. Well, not maybe at full charge, but 80% on some EVs. Just brilliant. Let's talk next about Buick, a company we rarely talk about. In China, Buick launched the Velite 6 Plus MAV. What's a MAV? It's a new one. It's an MAV, multi-activity vehicle. There you go. It's launched in China. It's full electric, says Green Car Congress. Newest member of the Velite 6 family has a range, they say, of 255 miles. Remember, China uses the old NEDC calculation, which is wildly optimistic. So maybe call it not 255, maybe call it 150, 160. That's how optimistic the thing was. The old way of measuring it was. The original Velite 6 was launched in April with an EV range of 301 kilometres as Buick's first global all-electric vehicle, and SAIC GM, the joint venture, their first electric vehicle for the mass market. They have some integrated resources and technology between GM and SAIC. Represents the latest application of their strategy of working together. Battery pack is 52.5 kilowatt hours, in case you're wondering. Pretty big for a Chinese EV. Got some small batteries over there, but that's pretty big. Energy density of 140 watt hours per kilogram. Energy consumption of 131 watt hours per kilometre. Let's talk next about Mazda as I look down my notes here. Yes, this is... I don't know whether this is a range extender or not, because Mazda's pre-publicity all talks about being the Mazda EV. That doesn't mean that what they call an EV is what you, I, and the internationally recognised agreed set of standards, which, by the way, there are, and was done many years ago from many stakeholders in the EV industry. EV does mean electric vehicle. Mazda have said the official announcements of their new EV will be the Tokyo Motor Show, but they've now teased the EV's interior. According to CNET, Mazda's Europe Twitter account flashed a look at the centre console, sleek design, familiar rotary knob. If you know the inside of Mazda's, the representative of the company had told Roadshow previously that the EV won't be based on any current Mazda. Whatever the company has plans, it's going to be a totally new model. We're in the dark on what form of vehicle it will take. Maybe it'll be some sort of crossover. And Mazda have said so many things in recent years about how they believe their rotary engine technology is ideally suited to be a range extender for their EVs. I'm suspecting it's a range extender, which is, it's fine, but they haven't made any mention of that. Almost like they're ashamed of it. If they come out and it is a full EV, I'll take it back. If they come out and release it and it's an EV, by the way, in brackets, it's got an engine inside it, I'd be raving about it now. If I was Mazda, I'd say, yeah, it's a range extender. That's a good technology for some people. Not for everyone, but for some. We'll see what they say when it's finally announced. Let's finish off with talking about GM. General Motors has committed to building an electric pickup truck in Detroit in its ongoing attempts to try and negotiate a new contract with the UAW. Yes, the dispute continues. Green Car Report says that last Friday, Detroit's WDIV TV detailed the latest negotiations between GM and the workers' union. Friday last week, the two are trying to resolve the standoff that currently has more than 45,000 US auto workers on a strike nationwide. As part of this negotiation, GM promised to build an all-EV pickup truck at the Detroit plant, which previously GM said they were going to be shuttering. While it would be good news on the surface, the union say the new EV line doesn't utilise the existing plant space, meaning job losses, and they don't want that. The dispute continues. Let's talk about question of the week this week. How can we make up for lost revenue when people start driving EVs en masse and stop buying petrol and diesel, and the tax that goes with that goes to the government? How can we make up for lost revenue from taxing fossil fuels? Email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com, or leave a comment on YouTube and Facebook. Well, there are 255 patrons of the show. Thank you very much. Without you, this wouldn't happen, and you are helping inform, maybe entertain, hopefully, thousands of people around the world every single day. Patreon.com/EVNewsDaily if you are thinking about it. If you want to say, I would like to say thank you to my premium partners, Phil Roberts of Electric Future, Brad Crosby and Avid Technology. And there are all the archive shows for you to get for free, 610 of those. If you want to get any new show, you can do that first and free and automatically by hitting subscribe in your podcast app, and it'll arrive every single day and sit there waiting for you until you want to listen. Come and say hi if you want to in the meantime by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. Catch you soon. Remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.